Yes, the carnage on our roads. This thing of waking up every day to hear of an accident on major roads here in Accra is becoming worrying indeed. It was only last week that we lost out to about 12 people, and to be honest, I was very sad that I barely heard or saw anything coming from the quarters of governments concerning the passing of those 12 individuals. Yes, nobody knows them. I know. They are not very popular. They are not ministers. They are not MPs. They are not DCs. They are not MCs. They are not assemblymen. We know. But these were 12 very important souls. For whatever reason, they passed on. Due to whether it was the negligence of a driver, we understand that there was an abuboya in there somewhere. Whether it was the negligence on his part, or the buses, or the sprinter car, well, I'm sure investigations are still ongoing. But we lost 12 very, very important lives, in my opinion. 12 very, very important lives. I was reading a sad story on the Facebook wall of colleague journalist Sadiq Obama about one of the people who was caught up in that accident. That apparently his wife also was in hospital. He had gone to the hospital to go and visit his wife also with his daughter. The man passed in that accident, and his daughter, who was in the car with him, has lost, I think, both legs and both hands or something like that. Yet I barely saw anything. At least 24 hours or 48 hours later, I barely saw anything coming from the quarters of government to even commensurate, with the family, or condolences to the family, or anything like that. What I heard were government officials all over the place talking about the fact that we need to pay attention on our roads and all of that. But it raises that very important question about what is happening on our roads. Is it a case of careless driving? Or is it a case of, whatever rules that we are supposed to have on our roads just not working? Last Friday, I raised the concerns of all of these Aboboyas and Pragyas competing with cars on motorways. And the worst part is that a lot of them, for those of you who drive in the evening, or for those of you who drive at dawn, you will notice that a lot of them, they drive without lights. Yet they are on the routes. Meanwhile, they are coming from somewhere, and that somewhere that they are coming from, there were some security people, some policemen who were standing by the roadside, collect 5 CD or 10 Ghana CD and allow them to pass. Just like the big trucks carrying all kinds of things. Some of them are carrying stuff that are even exceeding the 5.5, so that they can't go through some overheads and all of that. But you will see them, and they are coming from somewhere. So you're asking yourself, who is on the roads checking, or who is on the roads to enforce that these things are done and they are done properly? In this country, sometimes it's as if everything is on autopilot. People are paid to do these things. People are paid to do these things. They are MTTU officers on the road, together with whoever. But we still see the carnage. It may not only be their fault. It could also be the case of careless driving on these roads. But if the rules were implemented, if you're driving carefully, it would be spotted, it would be noticed. We always say that we have our leaders traveling to other parts of the world, and they go and see what happens there. You are driving past certain places, you are told you cannot go more than 40 kilometers, you cannot do an overtaking here, you cannot do this here, you cannot do that here, and there are cameras all over the place so that you don't play the fool. If you leave human beings to follow rules, a lot of them will not follow. But if you put in mechanisms in place to ensure that people who break the rules are punished, people will comply. How is it that someone will throw pure water from their cars on the street in Accra, but would dare do that in London? Because there are cameras everywhere, and if you do that nonsense, you'll be caught and you'll be dealt with. You dare not throw even a chewing gum out of your mouth on the street in Singapore, because there are cameras everywhere, and if the cameras catch up with you, the consequences are dire. You wouldn't make that mistake. Here, the cameras are not there. We don't even have them. Even if they are there, they are not everywhere. So people still play the fool. They do anything they like on our streets. People are crossing the streets anywhere. People are driving anyhow. Where people are not supposed to overtake, they would overtake. Where people are not supposed to speed, they would overspeed. And you wonder why, sadly, all of these accidents are happening all over the place. Every now and then I see a worrying video of a car trying to overtake someone on some of our major streets, especially on the Accra-Kumasi stretch, at places where it's literally I face you, you face me. And it's happening, and we're losing life after life after life. We see tipper trucks parked by the edges of the road, and they have been parked there for a week.